Good evening, everybody. It is Monday night, which means football still to be had and some playoffs, some matchups still yet to be decided. We'll see if you need any sort of Monday night miracles or comebacks or if it's just all too late. Hopefully, you're on the winning side of things. We're going to, I'm sure, have a lot of people telling us about their wins, their losses, and their brutal, excruciating losses. Like, this has just been one of those seasons. I think this week was pretty fitting based on how the season has gone. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was pretty ridiculous across the board. I mean, out of nowhere performances, both good and bad.
That's it. You never know what's going to happen. You just have to plan the best you can. Hope things fall your way. There's
Yep.
nothing else you can do. So we'll go over. Maybe some people still have some things in store. I look at it. There's one matchup. I have 3 players still yet tonight to play, and that's going to determine if I win or not. So I know some of you have some decisions to make, and tonight it's going to be interesting too because we had no idea up until, and maybe we still don't really know who's going to be the quarterback for either team. Jalen Hurts, guy who's been a stud all year, questionable heading into it. So right now it looks like he is going to play and fight through the illness. Do we expect him to be like fully operational, Jalen Hurts?
I mean, I don't think we can expect him to be fully operational, Jalen Hurts, but if you held out for Jalen Hurts, at least you're getting him. So, it's better than having to play Marcus Mariota.
There you go. At least it's not Marcus Mariota, and at least makes you feel a little bit better about those receivers who, oh yeah, you're
Right.
probably depending on to have monster days too. And then for Seattle, the latest on Geno Smith, questionable. Do we still even have clarity?
No, apparently he took pregame warmups, but so did Drew Lock. So they're kind of, I guess, still deciding on who it's going to be. I'm sure we'll find out while we're streaming here pretty soon who's going to officially be the quarterback for the Seahawks. So if you got Geno Smith, I hope you also have Drew Lock on your bench just in case.
Exactly. You're gonna have to be prepared. I mean, again, I said this the other day. Hopefully, nobody was depending on Geno Smith to win your fantasy championship or your playoff matchup, especially if it's not a super flex league. But if so, yeah, be ready. Just the fact that it's still not clear. It's only 2 hours away, less than 2 hours away, and that they're having the backup quarterback out there. Yeah, this doesn't sound good. I'm not too worried about Geno Smith personally. I'm more worried about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and those guys. But we'll see. So yesterday, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we can't go over all of the games and all of the surprises. I think I do want to talk Cowboys because so many people have been riding Dak and Lamb and that whole Cowboy offense. And I know they're better at home, but just because they're on the road, this offense was just like miserable. Just miserable. Dak Prescott, just bad. CD at least came through. He scored late. He was fine. But what is up with this?
Yeah, the worst part about that CD touchdown is it wasn't even a pass. Right. So Dak didn't even get any points for it. It was like it was a jet sweep that he scored on. Yeah, I don't. It's just I'm just chalking it up to one of those games, right? On the road in Buffalo. Look, I'll 2 things. Buffalo ran all over the Cowboys. But 7 pass attempts for Josh Allen? 7? So the Cowboys really didn't even have the ball that much. They couldn't get anything going, and the Bills defense stepped up. So I'm just going to chalk it up. One of those games. It happens. I'm not suddenly worried about the Cowboys, but it is, just like many guys who carried you all year that either A, didn't play yesterday, right? Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, or I say yesterday, week 15, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Chris Olave, many other people I'm not even thinking about right now who really helped you get there, didn't even show up, didn't even play, or the ones who did and basically didn't do anything. It was just a rough week. It was a rough week.
It was rough. Bijan Robinson, which I guess we should be used to by now with Arthur Smith. But yeah, perfect timing. Thanks for that, Art. And then somehow, despite being at home against a banged up Texans team, Derrick Henry, less than a yard per carry. And I don't know. But I will say this is why if you do have bye set in your playoffs, this is why you do like to have the bye, because you didn't have to worry about that this week. But every league's different, but you can't control it. You can't do anything about that. So just remember, guys, it's luck. And at the end of the day, you couldn't have done anything to change your opponent's lineup. You might have set a lineup with a bunch of stud players and they all, just all choked, and it's not your fault. So it's just how it is. It is what it is. So we're going to get to your commiserations and hopefully a lot of W's. Some people maybe on the good side of fortune.
We did just get breaking news. Geno Smith is in. So it's Geno versus Hurts.
Okay. Geno Smith is in. Hopefully he stays in.
Yes.
All right. There you go. So that makes you feel a little bit better. And so also, if you have last second questions, you want to know about your Seahawks, about your Eagles, what to do tonight, let us know, because it's not too late. Hopefully help you get the win. And we're in a little while also going to go over the results of last week's underdog draft. We've been doing the drafts pretty much every week, the weekly drafts. So stay tuned for that. See who can celebrate their weekly win. Don't forget, if you haven't tried underdog, because you can get this pick'em still in time for now. DeAndre Swift, it had been Jalen Hurts. You might have seen that a couple days ago. We're talking about Jalen Hurts. Well, the whole illness thing kind of threw into question. So it's DeAndre Swift. Just needs 1 yard. So you sign up for underdog for the very first time right now. If you make an account, use promo code ENDGAME when you sign up, because you get this pick. It's DeAndre Swift just getting 1 yard. That's a win for you. And you just need one other pick. And you also get the deposit match. Been talking about this 100% deposit match up to $100. There's a link down below you can click, or you can just download the app and check it out. So still have time to take advantage of this, and stay tuned. We'll talk about the draft. Anybody who's with Chris, say us, but Chris a couple days ago for the draft, let's see what happened there.
Spoiler alert, did not go well for my team.
So you didn't get the gold.
No, I had a lot of the players on the top 15 bust video on my draft.
Nice. Well, there were a lot to choose from. There sure were a lot of busts this week. All right, let's see. I feel like we're going to start with some good news. Let's see. All right, let's just do the first comment here. Is Dan Fuller. Had the bye. That's good news. All right. So looking ahead, Saquon, another one of those busts that we talked about.
Jeez.
All right. So in 12-team full PPR, wondering about Saquon or Olave, who didn't even play. Have JT and Etienne, assuming JT comes back. All right. So next week, the bust or the injury?
I mean, yeah, I don't. Saquon against the Eagles, JT against the Falcons. I mean, neither great spots. And now Zach Moss saying he wants to play. Who knows? Olave, I mean, we still don't know what that ankle. Like, it didn't really sound like he was ever close to playing. So we'll have to see how he practices. I mean, in full PPR, I might just go Olave. If he plays.
Yeah, it's not a good spot for Saquon on the road against the Eagles. You really aren't going to be sure. We have to be sure JT is playing, first of all. Right. We have to be sure Olave is playing. So I guess right now, I say flex Olave and then just wait and see. Although he does say got JJ, Nico, and Sutton and Higgins as wide receiver options.
Yeah, we don't know about Nico either. Remember, he wasn't close to playing last week either. It wasn't like he had some limited practices, right? He never even practiced. So
Yeah, what I read about Nico, it doesn't sound promising for next week. I would be very hesitant to start him.
Yeah.
Might want to start Higgins because Chase is also day-to-day. Just another one, by the way. Oh, yeah, Jamar Chase hurt. Didn't finish the game.
Exactly.
So I might go JJ and Higgins. Yeah. All right. Rise is out because here, let's see. Bijan, nothing. Pittman left early because of that hit. All right. Unfortunate, very unfortunate. But there's always next year. What about, let's see, Alyssa Dolphin Cloud. Playing my brother next week who beats me in everything. Okay.
All
There's
right.
motivation here. I have Hurts, Stroud, Flacco, Kyron Williams, Pollard, Zeke, Keenan, Olave, Puka, Wright, Sutton, Laporta, McBride. Okay, we need 2 quarterbacks.
2 QB. Am I starting Flacco over Stroud next week? I mean, you're starting Hurts. You're starting Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel better about Stroud coming back because it was a concussion. I think he'd be fine.
My worry is he plays the Browns at home. I mean, at least he's in Houston. That's a nice thing. But, potentially, I mean, definitely no Tank. We know this. Potentially no Nico. Do I just roll Flacco on the other side? Slinging Joe Flacco? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It's actually closer than I think it probably should be, but I mean, I don't know. But right now, I'd probably still lean Hurts and Stroud if he plays. Kyron. Zeke is another interesting one. Do we just feel like he just got game scripted out, like they just getting blown out, and they just said, okay, fine, we'll give Kevin Harris some run here late in the game because we're getting thrashed. What's the point? Because he gets Denver this week. Like, I specifically picked up Zeke in my home league. Not that I expected Zeke to be awesome, but for this week against Denver. Like, do we play Zeke over Tony Pollard this week against Denver?
I'm not worried about Kevin Harris. I mean, he might get a few touches, but I'm not worried about him like carving a rollout or anything like that. I think it's with the Cowboys. Let's look at Pollard. It's again on the road. Not that they are unplayable on the road, but they're just not as good. It's against the Dolphins. It's decent. It's a decent matchup, but it's not a great matchup. Let's see. Zeke against the Broncos. It's a pretty good matchup. I don't know. Were you really going to go Zeke over Pollard? I don't think I'm going to go Zeke over Pollard. I mean, you got to play Kyron. I think I would just stick with Pollard.
Man.
If Keenan plays, you got to play him. I don't care who the quarterback is, but we have to see if Keenan plays. Olave, we have to see if he plays. Puka is still a solid start, even though he didn't blow up last week. Rice is looking more and more like a good start.
I would seriously be debating Zeke over Pollard. Dolphins are a good defense. Look,
they're okay. They're up and down. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not.
Prior to yesterday, Zach Wilson had finally turned the corner.
Wow.
It's just the matchup. It's Denver.
Yeah, it is tempting.
And I feel better about, other than maybe obviously explosion, what does Pollard have over Zeke? And definitely the better offense, but man, it's Denver. I don't know. I'd be debating that. I think right now Rice is a must start. He's had seven or more targets in 4 straight games. Sky Moore just went on IR. I mean, not that it matters. Not he's getting a ton of targets, but he just went on IR. He might look. I don't want to be the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift guy, but when's the last time you saw Travis Kelce go up for an easy touchdown catch and alligator arm it because he's about to take a hit from a DB?
Yeah,
I don't like. Maybe it's not Taylor. Something's off with Travis Kelce. It just is. He's not. Whether maybe it's injuries. I don't know. But this is not the same Travis Kelce. They need Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice has to be the guy for this team. He just does, and he has been, and I think he'll continue to be. I don't know. I mean, I'm not as confident in Keenan just to say I don't care who the quarterback is. I mean, Easton Stick was awful, and if it wasn't for those garbage times where the Raiders were like whatever. How good can you feel about Keenan?
Yeah, I just think he'll get targeted if Keenan plays. He'll just get so many targets, he almost has to do something. And I don't feel that way about Sutton. Like you saw what happened. Sutton didn't score a touchdown. He was just like, eh.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what you're gonna get with Sutton. That's what you're gonna get. I mean, I don't know but I mean, man, can Keenan score a touchdown with Easton Stick?
He could. We need 3 receivers here. What about Puka?
Yeah, Puka was very disappointing against Commanders for sure.
But you can't just say, "Well, I'm not starting Puka." I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. Right now, if it's me, we have to pick 3 of those receivers. Look, I'll just say this, Alyssa, you have a very good team. I don't know how deep this league is, but you have a lot of good receivers, and I don't know how we're going to pick a tight end between Laporta or McBride. Like, there's no wrong answer there. I don't know. If it's me, I would go Keenan, Puka, Rice.
Yeah, I'm okay. If Olave plays, I'm playing Olave.
Over who though? Over Keenan
or Puka? Either one. Olave, Rice are probably my 1-2 if healthy. I'd probably still would go Keenan over Puka. Olave, Rice, Keenan if everybody's healthy. Puka choice number 4 if Olave's out.
I'm okay with Olave over Puka. So let's say this: if Olave plays, you can swap him out.
Yeah.
Oh, if Keenan plays, who knows?
And then Laporta, McBride. I mean, McBride is the safer option. He's basically like, I don't know if it's like, it can't just be Hollywood's heel because Michael Wilson didn't do anything. Rondale Moore doesn't do anything. It's like every pass that I see, every time I see a Cardinals passing play, it's to a tight end. And it's not even always Trey McBride. It's just whatever. Higgins. Who is Higgins? Who is this Higgins guy?
Well, if we watched Beat the Breakout last week, then we know Elijah Higgins. He was drafted. He's a converted receiver. He was drafted by the Dolphins, who cut him in the training camp. And they're like, no, we don't throw to tight ends around here. And then
go to Arizona, they throw to tight ends.
He found the perfect landing spot. And I said this, not expecting, and also it doesn't hurt that Jeff Swaim, who's the backup tight end technically, got hurt. But I said this, we don't handcuff tight ends typically. But if you're going to handcuff a tight end, it would be Trey McBride with Elijah Higgins.
Yeah, because that's it. It's like every single time it's just a tight end. I'm like, why even have wide receivers on the field? This is like the Patriots offense when they had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. So I don't know. McBride just has such an insanely high floor. Might have to go McBride.
Yeah, there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, though, because we got some more comments here. Try to get to everybody. Ryan Leal, who I can tell who he's rooting for tonight, had Barkley and Bijan with a side of DJ Moore. I mean, Moore wasn't terrible, but he definitely didn't go off. I have Hurts and Swift going tonight. Jason on the bench. Yeah, I'm going Swift over JSN. What about you?
Yeah, Swift over JSN for sure. Yeah, it's actually pretty sad when, like, what did DJ Moore get? Like 9 fantasy points, and we're like, it wasn't bad. Come on, he got you 9. You got you 9 fantasy points. It's like Justin Jefferson got 15. You're like, oh, whew. At least he got me 15.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, good luck tonight. I hope for your Eagles to go off. All right. Here's good news. Spearsy won the first game, first round. So go. Goff helped. Flowers did not help. Taysom, I mean, Taysom is boom or bust.
Right. Flowers,
Did not
man,
feel a big Taysom week.
That was a disappointing performance too last night. Like
That whole game.
Where was he? Yeah, the whole game.
Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to get started on him. Was that not maybe the worst play you've seen all season at the when it was 10 seconds left? And they're like, no, we're not going to spike it. We're going to throw it inbounds and get tackled so that the time runs out. Like, that was the only thing he could have possibly done except for take a sack. That would have been a bad play. He picked the worst possible thing to do. I don't even understand what he's thinking there. But
week 15 was drunk.
Yes. All right, Johnny Donuts sat McBride for Hawkinson. I mean, okay, you can't be blamed for playing Hawkinson. Sat Ty Chandler for Pollard. That was not bad process either. Sat Addison for Wilson. And sat Josh Palmer for Devontae Smith. Like, nobody's starting Josh Palmer. There's no reason you should have started Josh Palmer. So I don't blame you for any of these things. I would have done all the exact same things.
Exactly. It's just like this was one of those weeks where it's like, yeah.
That's exactly right. You did everything correctly, and that's just nothing else you can do. DC Hogs needs 3. Got AJ Brown, Goddard, and Walker tonight.
I mean, you got to start AJ Brown. I mean, can I start Goddard over Kenneth Walker?
He says he needs 3, but I see 3.
Oh yeah, you're right. Needs 3. Well, you only need 3. Are you saying you only need 3 points? I mean, hey, it's week 15. Getting 3 points from these guys right now feels like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah,
I got my 3 points. Who knows? Yeah, well, I think you're going to get 3 points from these guys.
You should.
Yes. Oh,
Sammy's wondering about 43 from Hurts.
I mean, if it's a regular 4-point passing touchdown league, you're looking at. I mean, look, Jared Goff just threw for 5 touchdowns and had 31 points. Baker Mayfield threw for 381 and 4 and had 29 points. I mean, you're talking about 2-3 rushing touchdowns, 100 rushing yards, and decent passing numbers. I mean, that's a big game.
I don't think you can count on 43 from anybody, really, and especially a flu game on the road. Yeah. I'll just say good luck to you, Ralphie. Now, this is doable, but 45 from Hurts, Smith, and the Eagles.
I mean, it's doable, but it's a big game, right? It's still a big game. I mean, if you get 20 from Hurts, you still need 25 from Smith and the Eagles D, or even if you get 25 from Hurts, you still need 20 combined for those guys. It's a big game, but it's doable. So enjoy the sweat, Ralphie. You will definitely be sweating tonight.
Yeah, it still is even so 43 from one player. That's not happening. 45 from these, it's possible.
Yeah.
So, good, bad news. How Bijan Kelsey, less than 11, but somehow won still.
I will say this might have been the one saving grace of week 15 is there were so many busts across the board that even though, like, I only had 3 playoff matchups yesterday because I either had, like, I have like a few dynasty teams that are in full on rebuild or punt modes. And then I have, teams that have the bye. So out of all my leagues, I only had 3 teams that are actually playing yesterday. I won 2 of them, and they both happened to be the leagues where I started Marquise Brown, who got me a 0. But it was okay because my opponents also had like one match against Jimmy. He had Eckler, Breece Hall, and Tony Pollard. You know what I mean? So it was like, oh, Hollywood got me a 0, but those guys combined for like whatever, 17 points or whatever it was. And in the other league, I forget who the guy had, but He only scored so. I think that was the one like saving grace of week 15 is there were so many busts, like so many that even if your team had busts, the other team probably had them too.
Probably. We've seen some people say, I went against, Sam Laporta and the Raiders defense and, Debo and, but like, that's just,
that was
like, there's nothing you could do,
That was the team that lost. I went against Laporta, Amon-Ra, Addison, Devontae Adams. I don't even remember the rest of his team. Michael Fawcett. And I had Bijan, Travis Etienne. I got smashed.
Yeah. And in that case, which is really frustrating. It didn't even matter what lineup you set. It didn't matter who you put. You could have, taken like the All Madden team from 1998, and you still would have lost. It didn't matter. So that's what it comes down to. Here's some good news. Quit said they listened to your advice, started Terry. Now, Terry did come through and kept saying, feel like it could be a Terry week. It was definitely a Terry week. And he was this close to getting another touchdown and then went down at the one. But then they gave it to him anyways.
Yeah, but I can only take like a partial victory here.
Come on.
It's not really fair. It's not really fair to say. Like it's like people saying like it's like people victory lapping. I don't know. What was some like Jordan Addison 5 weeks? Like if they've been like saying like this is why you don't bench your studs. When Jordan Addison finally,
it's not the same. Jordan Addison has never been even the number one receiver.
Okay, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean when they're like.
I know what you mean, but
like they're like this is Gabe Davis goes off for his 25-point game, and they're like that's why you draft Gabe Davis, even though. He got you. Guess what Gabe Davis did this week? Another 0.
That's right.
Agent 0 with another 0.
He's officially Agent 0 now. Yeah.
He's officially Agent 0 now. But anyways, the point being, like, Terry McLaurin was going to have like an okay game, but the whole point was like, hey, they're going to come out of the bye. They're going to get him more involved. It was only when they benched Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett came in, and Jacoby Brissett was finally like, I'm no longer placing any of the blame on Eric Bieniemy. I don't think Eric Bieniemy, right? We've been saying all season, like, oh, every week he's choosing a different guy. You know what I think it is? It's just Sam Howell. He's just not very good. He's just not a good quarterback. And instead of just throwing it to his best player repeatedly, he's just like, this guy, this guy. Jacoby Brissett, who has sat on the bench for 15 and a half weeks, comes into the game ice cold and just instantly starts lighting this defense up like no problem. It's like if anybody thought Sam Howell was a good quarterback after watching Jacoby Brissett play, it's like I don't know what to tell you, but Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback right now than Sam Howell, no doubt about it. So I can't take the full victory lap here because if it wasn't for the Sam Howell benching and Jacoby Brissett coming in, Terry McLaurin probably would not have exploded.
All right, that might be true. Maybe that's something to do with it. But, hey, it turned out you felt a good Terry week. It was a big Terry week, a big Terry week, finally.
You know what's funny? Remember I joked like, oh, how fitting would it be if Jordan Addison and Terry McLaurin were the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2? They're not quite, but they're wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 3 right now. Like, what? I was joking week 15. It wasn't serious.
Well, week 15 felt like a bad joke for some people.
Right.
But and there's another good point. We railed on this last week. Johnny Boom. Unless there's actually a hurricane or something, you can't. It could be like a slight fact. Like for kickers, sure, make it a factor maybe, but you shouldn't change your whole lineup based on just weather reports.
No.
And the Atlanta Carolina game, by the way, low scoring. Because it was Atlanta, Carolina, and they're awful teams, not because of the weather. All right, what's up, Kevin? Had Waddle, nice. Mostert, Rashad White, Chris Godwin, and James Cook. I mean, wow. you started Chris Godwin. That's some good mojo there.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was watching Red Zone, and I'm like, why does Chris Godwin keep catching passes? What is going on all of a sudden? Yeah. Well done.
All right, Anthony Romsberg up 12, got DK. Opponent has Swift and the kicker, Jake Elliott. How do you feel?
Probably good. Probably good.
So.
I mean, can Jake Elliott erase 12 points? Probably not. I mean, maybe, but probably not. So Swift has to outscore DK probably by at least a few points, if not more, for you to lose. So I feel pretty good for your chances.
It's not in the bag, that's for sure. Feel better
Right.
because it's Geno at quarterback. And I did like DK this week. So I would say I should, if I were you, I'd feel pretty good, but don't assume it's in the bag for sure. What about Alex B saying he won because of the Lions? But what do you do with Bijan at this point? It's a great question.
I mean, I don't even know what to, like. Okay, when you look at like Derrick Henry, it's like he just sucked, right? He just had a bad game. Like you look at Saquon Barkley, whatever. Like the Giants, Tommy DeVito turned back into a pumpkin. The Saints defense was all over him. The Giants offense couldn't do anything. Okay, fine. Like you look at some of these other busts, like Tony Pollard. Okay, the Cowboys, obviously they got rolled by the Bills. Whatever. Even in the first quarter, like they just came out of the gate. Like Arthur Smith just came out of the gate saying Tyler Algier is touching the ball more than Bijan Robinson this week. Like that was his game plan.
Yes.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he shave his mustache when he was taking heat the first time, and then that's when he started riding Bijan? Now the mustache is back. I think he got arrogant again. Was like, I could beat the Panthers. I'm gonna show him I can beat the Panthers using Tyler Algier and all these people. And then he got a little bit of humble pie, or I don't know, or maybe you know what? Arthur Smith is just a fraud. He's just a fraud. He has frauded his way to being some offensive. I don't even know how he got credited with being an offensive guru because he had Derrick Henry. Like like at least like think back, man. Who was your head coach who was like looking all around at the flies in his press conference? Who
for the Dolphins?
Yeah,
Adam Gase.
Who was the offense coordinator for Peyton Manning, and suddenly people, this guy's an offensive genius because he had Peyton Manning, right? Or these guys who obviously are like Josh McDaniels, like because he had Tom Brady, he's an offensive genius. I was gonna
say every single coach who's ever been an assistant for the Patriots,
yeah. Like what? What was Arthur Smith's claim to fame? Like why do people think this guy's an offensive genius? You can't even beat the Carolina Panthers. You 7 points against the Carolina Panthers. And you came out with the game plan of like Tyler Algier is going to be the guy. That was your game plan after riding Bijan like 20 touches a game, getting back in the playoff race, getting this ship righted. You're like, I'm going back to Tyler Algier now. Like, oh, dude.
See where I thought you were going, which I guess in my mind I went there with the mustache thing, is I thought you were thinking this is like an evil twin situation where it's like there's actually a good Arthur Smith who is like a football coach and knowledgeable and then he's got an evil twin, hence the mustache, who shows up and he's like, it's Algier time. And then, that's what it is. He's like, maybe, Jekyll and Hyde thing.
You could be right. You're onto something there. Onto something.
Maybe. Well, Preston Newsome started Bijan and Saquon and Breece Hall and yet still won.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like this is one of those weeks where you could have all these busts and it's okay because your opponent started, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, whatever, and you still won. Yeah.
You must have had the Raiders defense. Or Sam
Laporta, or you started the Raiders defense, or James Cook,
man. Buffalo. I'll tell you what, it's pretty clear now, and we could go on. I guess we do have some time. It's pretty clear what McDermott wants to do now, which we already knew, is run the ball. Right, ever since he's gotten his OC in place, they're running the ball like to no end with James Cook. But should we actually legitimately be sort of worried about Stephon Diggs not being an elite fantasy player now?
Yeah, I mean, this has been, if you look at like the last 5 or 6 games, he's only had one good game in that stretch.
This lines up perfectly with the new offensive coordinator being put in place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to see a game like we said, like where Josh Allen only throws it 7 times again. I mean, that was pretty It's pretty crazy. Although maybe we only see it this week against the Chargers because maybe he won't have to throw it against the Chargers. But
exactly.
Yeah, I'm definitely nervous about Stephon Diggs.
I'm looking. He's getting targeted. It's not like, they're not even throwing it to him, because before yesterday, the 2 games before that, 11 targets, and 8 in the first game with Brady at OC, but 4 catches in 3 of the last 4 games. 4 catches. He hasn't gone over 75 yards at all in any of the games since they switched coordinators.
But also I think you got to. It's a little grain of salt here, because also if you look at it, like since week 10, he's played Denver, the Jets. He did get the Eagles, and he had a nice game there, 74 yards and a touchdown. Then he got the Chiefs and now the Cowboys. I mean, he's faced 4 of the best secondaries, in the NFL over that stretch as well. So this one is certainly tough. It's certainly tough. I mean, like they're playing the Chargers this week. I think you
still have to play Diggs. I'm not saying you could bench him.
But. Yeah, I think you still have to play him, but I think you got to be a little nervous. But if he doesn't come through this week, if you're even still playing with Diggs, of course, if he doesn't come through this week, then definitely it's like, okay, something's up, because this is the Chargers defense. I mean, come on, everybody on the Raiders scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah, Trey Tucker, I think, had 2 touchdowns, didn't he?
Two touchdowns. Yeah. Kobe Myers scored a touchdown, and then he threw a touchdown to Devontae Adams, because why not? It's the Chargers. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. It would be so fitting if the Chargers now, with a temporary head coach, come back and beat Buffalo, and somehow Austin Eckler has 5 touchdowns when people I'm benching him. That would be fitting for this year.
Well, yeah.
All right. Andrew Gill, look at this.
Ooh.
Currently at 121.86, the opponent has exactly 1/10 of a point more. I have K9, he has Devontae Smith. So basically, who scores more, or who do you feel better about?
I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel better about Devonta Smith. But you never know. You never know. Maybe it's not a Devonta Smith week. Maybe K9 finds the end zone, rips off a long run. You never know.
I think that's what it comes down to, if either guy finds the end zone. Because even if Smith, let's face it, should have a higher floor, should definitely get more points, assuming this is PPR. If he gets even a couple of catches and some yards, he's probably going to outproduce K9. But what if Walker scores even on a long run, but a decent run? He still might get the edge. So I hate to say I would prefer to have the Devontae Smith side, but you have no idea how this is going to go. So just enjoy the game tonight, if that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be enjoying it. He's going to be sweating.
Well, you'll enjoy it if Walker rips off a big touchdown early. But yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is not really a question anymore. Craft Gamer, the awesome, Flacco or Howell?
I mean, you cannot start Sam Howell on the road against the Jets. You're just what do you like?
Is Howell going to play? Is Howell the starter next week?
Yeah, they said he's still starting. Which really makes no sense why you benched him for Jacoby Brissett then. What was the point? To try to win that meaningless game?
Yeah. Try to crank out that 5th win.
Right. But there's no way. Outside, even in and by the way, we're gonna have to figure this out. Are we in our Dynasty League? Remember, we were all excited. You bugged in. I don't know if you're on here. We were yeah, we kept Howell and he took Love. And now I'm can we have Love back? Because remember, originally he wanted Howell. We were ooh, and this is when Howell was playing well and Love wasn't. We were well, what if we give you Howell instead? I mean, give you Love instead. Now I'm can I have Jordan? Can we have Jordan Love back and we'll give you Howell? But we're going to have to decide in our Superflex, are we playing Sam Howell on the road against the Jets, or are we not starting the QB because we don't have another option, I don't think. So, I don't even know in a 2 QB league if I could start Sam Howell against the Jets on the road. On the road against the Jets. I mean, look, Tua at home against the Jets didn't even have a bad game, Rice statistically did not have a bad game. Got you 12 fantasy points.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And that was in
ever do
Miami.
well.
That was in Miami. Now Sam Howell going into New York. I do not see how you start Sam Howell. You got to go Flacco.
Well, but here's the good news. You're talking about our dynasty league where we are co-manage, where we had the bye. Yeah. Well, the good news is we picked up Joe Flacco, so we're good.
We did. I missed that. Well done.
Yes, we did, because we had PJ Walker, and then I was like, okay, well, let's cut him, and I picked up Joe Flacco. We do have Daniel Jones chilling on IR.
Well, that's true.
We have we have Tyler Huntley in case of emergency if Lamar goes down, and we have Sam Howell. We're rolling with Flacco. So there's Flacco the answer.
For sure, Flacco.
Yeah, and it's a dynasty league. But anyways, so this we just talked about this. PJ Monroe, Rice over Diggs.
Ah, man. I don't think I could do it. But man,
I know.
It would not surprise me at all if Rice outscores Diggs.
I think just because it is the Chargers, like you said, I think you just got to stick with Diggs. Because if the theory is that, the tough matchups and they haven't had to pass the ball as much, even yesterday, it was Cowboys. Well, they didn't have to pass the ball because the Cowboys didn't do anything. We'll see. We'll see if Diggs does something against the Chargers. I think I'm still starting Diggs. I know I feel like that Austin Eckler situation. We're like, oh, the matchup's so good. No, you got to play him. And then we're just like, no, you don't have to play him. But I think it's a little different.
Yeah.
All right, Carl. Down by 28.5. He has DK, but he's got Smith, Swift, and a mystery quarterback. Oh, banged up Geno so he gets to choose between Hurts or Geno.
Well, I think you got to go Hurts because now the latest update we just got is that, yes, Geno Smith is active, but they haven't decided if he's starting yet.
Yeah, I'm going Hurts.
Just go Hurts.
Yeah. Geno playing, it's an hour until kickoff and we don't know? I'd say probably not. So, Carl, you got to go with Hurts. What are your chances? Got basically all the Eagles triple stack here. 28, but also the op has DK.
So let's be conservative here and say DK gets 15. That's a 43-point deficit. I mean, it's doable. Obviously, if DK goes off, that's going to be the thing. But it's going to be a sweat. Good luck, Carl. Going to be a sweat for sure.
It's a lot like the last one we had, right? 43 with 3 Eagles. I was all in on the Eagles coming back strong this week, and then Hurts is questionable, and it puts a, kind of a damper on everything. It's still possible, though. It is still possible.
I think it helps Swift, honestly, because they might just run it more, and against Seattle, they should have no problems running the football.
True. I like Swift this week. The question is, all 3 of those guys, are they all going to do enough combined to get 40? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so Robert Von Pop got the bye. Thankful for that. So now here's a painful question. Are you going to go Purdy, who's been lighting it up, or are you going to go Mahomes?
I think you have to go Purdy. I mean, even last week I would have gone Purdy.
Even though it's against... Which a lot of people think, and I actually am thinking, not that I'm into conspiracies or anything, but this Christmas Day matchup between the Ravens and the 49ers, basically a Super Bowl preview. Like, these are the teams destined to go. So Ravens, not a great matchup. You're still going to go Purdy. The Chiefs get the Raiders.
I know, but man. They're in San Francisco, so he's at home. He's got Kyle Shanahan. He's matchup proof. Kyle Shanahan will find your weakness and just be like, okay, throw it to this guy. Just keep throwing it to this guy. He'll be open. I think I still got to go Purdy. Purdy doesn't make sense, right? It's like, Brock Purdy, 14 completions on 22 attempts. 40 4 touchdowns. Hey, what? 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 But he does it every week. So, who am I to question it? I'm going Brock Purdy.
This is where you look at the matchup, and it should be Mahomes, and it's Mahomes, so it should be Mahomes. But even in this last matchup, even just now, week 15, against the Patriots, let's remember the Patriots are one of the worst teams in the NFL now. Their defense has been okay, but it's not a shutdown defense. Mahomes was fine, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Purdy was better. So I guess you got to go Purdy. I mean, you just have to look at who's been putting up more fantasy points.
Problem for Mahomes is you got to stop throwing at the Kadarius Toney.
How, honestly, I know Andy Reid is one of these guys. He's an anti-Belichick, right? He's more of a loyal guy. He'll keep guys. They kept Josh Gordon on the roster for like 5 years. He never played. He's very loyal, right, to his players. Why is he still on the team? How did they not just cut him and just just get rid of him?
How is he even in the NFL? To be honest, I will say he made some plays in the Super Bowl. I'll give him credit for that. He made some plays in the Super Bowl that helped him win, right? Like that punt return. He made some plays in the Super Bowl that helped him win. But outside of that, it was, after the offsides call, Patrick Mahomes had that quote where he's like, no, he's not going to be defined by, one mistake is not going to define you. It's like, well, how many mistakes is going to define this guy? It's almost every week with this guy something. Remember earlier in the year where he had the pick 6 go right through his hands for the pick 6 to lose the game? It's not just one mistake. It's almost every week with this guy.
Yeah. If it were one mistake, maybe. But, I guess go Purdy. And I know it's going to hurt your head probably all week. But, hey, let me just put it this way. You get to choose between 2 of the better quarterbacks in the league. You're not choosing between, Sam Howell or, Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So just think of it this way. You could have a much tougher decision.
Right.
Speaking of tough decisions, and this is, I think, even more legitimate. HM, Kelsey or McBride?
I honestly think McBride has the higher floor. Way higher floor. Might as well just go McBride. I mean,
he's just been better. He's been better. We have to forget last year, the past decade. We have to forget where you drafted and forget who has been putting more fantasy points. It's McBride.
Yeah. He's just getting target. It's just, like I said, it's like Jonathan Gannon built an offense around the tight end. So weird.
It's got to be McBride.
Yep. Crazy.
Such a okay, so we did that. Ridley. Ooh. Matt C. Ridley or Keenan?
I mean, all signs say it should be Ridley, but I don't think it can be Ridley. I mean, you got Zay Jones banged up. Christian Kirk is out. They're playing the Bucks. Every sign is start Calvin Ridley, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to go out there and catch 4 passes for 35 yards.
I'm not starting Calvin Ridley. Man.
Also, Trevor Lawrence in the concussion protocol, so we don't even know if Trevor Lawrence is playing this week.
That too.
Just go Keenan Allen.
To me, it's as easy. If Keenan plays, I'm playing Keenan.
I wish I felt as strongly about Keenan Allen as you do, but I just watched Easton Stick play football.
This is true, but I'm still starting Keenan. Senor Rojo is up 10. He's got DK, Jason or Swift.
Go Swift. This should be a good Swift game. It should be a great Swift game tonight. Go Swift.
Yeah, I just like Swift better. Anyways, just straight up, I would prefer Swift. And then now we don't know if Gino's playing. And you're up. You need the floor, not the ceiling. It's Swift. Definitely Swift. This is interesting. I like he's saying don't move to Texas. All right. Because you live in Texas, you don't want all the Californians coming and raising the property rates. Is that what it is? Because that's what's happening.
Probably.
He said had a 210 point lineup, but not in the tournament. Yeah, that's the best.
It's always a good idea if you do head-to-heads to throw it in a tournament, just in case your head-to-head lineup goes off. Just throw it in a tournament. Even if it's a low buy-in one, throw it in a tournament just in case it goes off.
Yeah, and the best feeling is when you get bounced from the playoffs, or if you just barely missed it and you're like in the consolation bracket and you're like a high score of the week. That's the best. That's the best feeling in the world.
That's why I don't even set my lineup anymore. I don't even pay attention. When I'm out of it, I don't even pay attention anymore. I'm like, nope.
Done.
I mean, hey, credit to you if you play for the consolation bracket or whatever, but once I'm done, I'm done. But I guess, again, when you have like 11 or 12 leagues, it's pretty easy to ignore like the leagues where you're out of it, to be like, okay, moving on. So I get it. If it's your only league, you want to keep playing, I get it.
Yeah, that's what you should do. Just not even check. I don't know what it is. I still feel compelled to try to win the consolation bracket because it makes me feel better. All right, Steven Cotto. Reed, Nico Chase, and Zay Jones. Yes, all very questionable. I'll just say this. Reed, it's that same the issue with Reed, like it's a toe. But it's the same toe that's been bothering him. And I saw someone, one of the Twitter doctors who I actually trust, worry about turf toe. We know turf toe can linger. That could keep him out. Concerning Nico, it's a re-aggravation of the calf. He's already missed, hadn't practiced. Very good chance Nico misses. Chase might play. He might not. Zay Jones, that guy has been hurt all year. I doubt Zay Jones plays. And even if Zay Jones plays, I don't care. All right, so Boyd, Parker Washington might be decent. Noah Brown, Wicks, Odell, Ty Chandler, Josh Palmer, Kraft. Who to place a claim for?
I think it's got to be Noah Brown. I mean, it's not a great matchup against the Browns, but they got to throw to somebody.
Yeah, I like Noah Brown. What about Ty Chandler if Madison doesn't play?
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't the Lions this week. You know, I liked them last week. I mean, I didn't expect Ty Chandler to do what he did, but I liked him because it was the Bengals, not a good run defense. Now it's the Lions. They're still very good against the run, so I'd probably prefer Noah Brown 1, but yeah, Ty Chandler 2.
Yeah, I think Noah Brown's got to be 1 here. And Wicks, of course, makes for a good claim if Reed is out, because Wicks was already the leading receiver last week or yesterday for the Packers. But still, it's not as high of a ceiling here. Yeah, Odell. I should have known, right? Should have known. Odell. Yeah. Not the most painful of the busts, but yeah, just fitting. Should have known. All right, Browner, 9-11, pick 1. Singletary, Ridley, or Jaden Reed.
Remember last week? Remember I was saying, like, I feel like one of these Texans running backs is going to randomly have a big day. I just don't know which one. Well, I know which one it was now. I can tell you which one it was.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary. I mean, I think I had Devin Singletary on 2 of my benches. Just like, wow, it would have been nice. Been nice to play that guy this week. But man, now it's the Browns. But if CJ Stroud is back and he's going to get every touch,
he got
Reed
so many
up again. Calvin Ridley, what a underwhelming. I guess just Singletary.
Just going Singletary here. I don't even care who the matchup is. I'm going Singletary. Getting so many touches, he's been so good. It really makes you wonder why Dameon Pierce that 1 week randomly was the lead back again. You're like, oh, okay, I guess he's a starter. No, just kidding. So
yeah,
I guess they saw enough of him because when he played, he wasn't really that good again. It's like, okay, now we know for sure. Now we know we can't blame injury. Let's see. Then to the moon, just real quick, just saying the way that week 15 has been. Do you think AJ Brown getting 1 point is doable? Is this going to be that kind of week where AJ Brown gets shut out?
I mean, it could be. 1 point, that feels tough.
Jake Izzo has Hurts. Goddard or JSN?
Well, I'll say if Geno plays, I might go JSN. I mean, are we expecting a big Goddard game tonight? I'm not. I'm expecting like an okay Goddard game, but I don't know if I expect a big Goddard game. So, I'm not really one for the tight end QB stack. So, if Geno plays JSN, if it's Drew Lock, then maybe I just go Goddard. Oh, I don't know. I might go JSN either way. That Eagles secondary is so bad. I might go JSN either way, honestly.
Even if it looks like it's Lock, which...
Yeah, because, okay, what are we expecting from Dallas Goedert tonight? Like, realistically, what's a realistic stat line for Dallas Goedert tonight?
5 catches, 50-something yards. Maybe a touchdown, maybe not.
Okay, can JSN get 5 catches, 50-something yards with Drew Lock against the Eagles?
I feel like it's pretty close. Pretty similar.
Yeah, so just give me JSN because I feel like he has more upside.
True. All right. There you go. JSN it is. What about Kurt Swift or Metcalf?
Man. Now this one is actually tough because it does matter if it's Drew Lock or Geno Smith. Like, I think if it's Geno Smith, I go DK Metcalf. If it's Drew Lock, it's a lot closer.
I picked both these guys. Honestly, I felt good about them early in the week, and now I don't feel as good. But I think the way things are kind of shaking out, I'm leaning Swift.
Yeah, at least we know Hurts is playing. I think Swift will be fine. I'm not worried about Swift at all. It just more comes down to if it's Geno, do I go DK? Because I feel like in PPR, I just feel like he has way more upside. But if it's Drew Lock, I'd probably go Swift. So that's what I would say. If Geno plays, I go DK. If it's Lock, I'll go Swift.
Any concern, and I mean this half sarcastically, maybe completely sarcastically, with Matt Patricia now calling plays, that this Eagles defense is just going to be much better?
No.
Oh, Matt Patricia. Okay. I would lean Swift. But if you, maybe you're down big, maybe you need huge upside, then maybe DK. But if not Swift, James Farrell. Okay, the opponent has Hurts. He's got DK and Swift and is up. He should.
Yeah, I think you're probably all right.
Yeah, should be all right. But did you die? Saying a lot of people are mad. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of people mad. Have you seen that?
I don't know. I'm sure a lot. I don't really read all the comments or anything. So I'm sure people are mad. I'm sure. Look, it was a rough week. I'm sure we got a lot wrong this week. Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, Dak Prescott, Justin Fields. There's a lot of guys to get wrong this week. So yeah. It comes with the territory. Look, you're gonna.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it just comes with the territory. If we were right 100% of the time, with all due respect to each and every one of you who we appreciate, I would not be on this channel doing YouTube content. I would be in Vegas, living in some huge mansion, in some, I don't know, crazy. Actually, I probably wouldn't because I don't want that. But you know what I mean. I'd be in Vegas, crushing the sports books if I was 100% right.
Exactly. You can be mad at the result, but don't be mad at the process if it was sound. If we're making crazy picks and, just giving bad advice, like I'd say, hey, you really need to start Tyler Algier this week because, he's going to get a ton of touches. Okay, then you have right to be mad if he didn't crush. Like if it was something crazy, but saying, hey, look, it's Saquon Barkley. You still need to start Saquon Barkley. And, Saquon Barkley had a bad game. You can be mad at Saquon Barkley and mad at the Giants, but if that was, if you feel like that was bad advice, okay, fine. Who are you going to start instead of Saquon Barkley? Honestly.
It's like, well, I could have started, like you said, like I could have started Ty Chandler. Like, come on, man.
Right.
Like, okay, next time start Ty Chandler over Saquon Barkley.
Exactly.
See how it goes.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. Yeah, we're here to help, to try to help. My 2 cents. What do you think? Arthur Smith investigated for.
I don't think Arthur Smith needs gambling money. He's got daddy's money.
Right. Exactly.
Arthur Smith doesn't even need money.
No, he does
This
not.
is why he does this. Because he's like, fire me. Whatever. You know who my dad is?
Exactly. Somebody actually put that. Y'all know who his dad is. Moses Lim, can you trust Stafford against the Saints? Okay, so Stafford didn't single-handedly carry teams in this week. Didn't happen. He wasn't bad. Like, you can't, man, he busted. He didn't bust. He was fine. Like, he was fine.
Yeah. He was fine.
I would still start him against the Saints. I don't know who else you have. It depends on your other option.
Yeah, they're at home, right? They're in LA again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can still trust him against the Saints. Yeah.
And then Corey B did drop a super chat. 10-man PPR down 8. The opponent is done. He's got 1 spot left. Okay, so with 8 points to go in PPR, is it DK or is it Devontae Smith?
I think it's still DK Metcalf. I really do. Even if it's Drew Lock. I mean, again, this Eagles secondary has been so bad. He can get you 8 points. I do worry a little bit with Jalen Hurts that maybe we do see a more run-heavy approach. Not as much throwing. So I'm going to go DK here.
Yeah, I picked DK to boom. I would prefer if it was Geno Smith, but I still think DK can do something against this defense. So, I'm gonna go DK still. I'm gonna go DK. Good luck to you. 8 points. I think it should be doable.
Yep.
On the other side here, Sven needs Devontae to get 10 plus.
I mean, I don't think that would be a miracle.
No.
He's done that many times this year.
Yeah,
I don't think that'd be a miracle.
10 is not that bad. Interesting. Wook plus. What about Kraft at tight end? He actually started him over Kincaid this week, and I guess that paid off. Would you start Kraft next week?
I mean, you got to feel pretty good. Christian Watson, I mean, really, we expected him to be back all of a sudden. Jaden Reed banged up. I will say if there's a downside here, it's the Panthers, and they just play like so slow. But he's a tight end. If he scores a touchdown, you're good. So, yeah, I think he can continue that. Yeah.
I will say also, Jaden Reed, what if he doesn't play? Christian Watson, doubt that he plays again. Tight end is going to get targeted in this offense because the receivers are all hurt still. And Aaron Jones was back, but he didn't do a whole lot. So, yeah, Kraft definitely seems like a solid, consideration in this offense. They're throwing it to the tight end a lot. They were throwing to Musgrave, and they're throwing it now to Kraft. Joe Salters, 1. Very nice. Full PPR had Stafford and T-Law. Okay, well, you definitely need Stafford next week. CMC, Mixon, Achane, Waddle, Olave, Deontay Diggs, Kincaid likely. So let's set a lineup for next week. I think even if T-Law clears the protocol, I think you got to start Stafford over him, don't you?
Yeah, Stafford at QB, obviously CMC. I think you got to go Mixon.
What about Diggs?
How many? I don't know how many you need here. It's full PPR. If it's 2 and a flex, I'm going Waddle, Olave, and Diggs. If it's no flex, I mean, I'm still starting Diggs. I just am. It's the Chargers. I don't know. I'm probably going Olave if he plays. Otherwise, Waddle. I know Waddle had a nice game, but I talked about it. I said, hey, the Jets are a good matchup for Waddle, and Tyreek Hill was out. Tyreek Hill almost certainly going to be back next week. think that caps his upside a bit. I'll go Diggs and Olave, but if there's a flex, I'll go Diggs, Olave, and Waddle. And then,
I agree.
man,
I would rank them
ends.
Diggs, Olave, Waddle. Tight end is a tough one.
Yeah, because it feels like you just want to say likely 2 nice games in a row. And he gets the 49ers. But look, I mean.
Exactly. Kincaid has been okay, not great since coming back.
I mean, the other thing you got to worry about for Kincaid, like we just talked about, is like they're not throwing the ball as much. I mean, he also got a 0 this week.
It's true. 0.0.
He hasn't topped 8 fantasy points since week 12. I might just go likely and hope for a touchdown.
And what's interesting here, it's just the way this offense is working now. Just be more conservative, not just throwing it less, but throwing it shorter. It's like Diggs. The targets are there. Not this week, of course, because he only didn't catch anything and only had 2 targets. But before that, and I'm just looking at the Joe Brady era, 8 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets the last 3 weeks, 21 yards, 38 yards, 46 yards. It's like it's becoming a dink and dunk pass game. They don't want Josh Allen to chuck deep anymore. They don't want to turn it over. They're running the ball more. It's just becoming more conservative. And this is why Gabe Davis has not been involved, because that's his thing. So I think I'm okay just taking a shot on likely. Maybe he'll score. Brian is in the house. Brian saying he survived playing Bijan Barkley, Ayuk and Chase, thanks to Lamar, Laporta, and Raiders D. So you just need that upside.
Yep.
JR, down 20, have Smith left. Could he do it? He says he loved your walk-off on bus video.
Thanks. I was crying. You couldn't see me off camera, but I was actually crying. No, I mean, can he do it? Yes. It's a big game, but he can do it.
It's going to take a big game, yeah. So, yeah, he's done it before. I wouldn't put money on it, but I think it's possible. Happy needs help for next week. All right. Flex Olave, McBride, or Addison.
Oh, here we go. So now we're putting Addison in the Olave McBride tier.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it.
I mean, if it's me, I'm going Olave, but assuming he plays and he's healthy, of course. But I think McBride is also fine. I mean, in PPR, he just has such a high floor, right? He's just a PPR monster. So I'm okay with McBride if you want to shoot for more of the floor play. It's not like a floor play like a 10-point floor. It's like a 15-point floor for McBride right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. I wonder who do you? Yeah, McBride looks like a must start. Who's your tight end? Then is the question. But I think I would still prefer Olave if he does play, but McBride is a close second. And then Achane or Connor.
I think you got to go Connor. I mean, I know Achane can always. We keep saying this.
Can
always rip off that long run, or maybe I don't know, maybe it's a toe, maybe it's regression, whatever you want to call it. But I think you got to go Connor. I mean, look, he had a nice game against the 49ers. He scored on the first drive. One thing about the 49ers, sometimes that defense looks like, what is this defense right now? Like they're
down a little bit.
Yeah, there are periods in that game where the Cardinals just move the ball at will against them. It's just like, what is this defense right now? But Connor gets the volume. He can score. He'll catch a few passes. I think you got to go Connor.
Yeah, got to go Connor. Achane until he starts getting more involved, and the toes probably still bothering him. Just go Connor. Got to go for the volume here. Ben Siving, Swift or Lockett needs 9 points. Who are you counting on?
I think I got to count on Swift.
Yep.
Count on Swift to get you 9. He should be able to get you 9.
That's what I would do. Lockett has always been kind of boom bust, right? And now possibly with Drew Lock. Just going to go Swift. I think Swift can do it. And what about this? Laporta or Kelsey? This is nope.
I'm just going Laporta. He's been awesome. I mean, he's mostly been better than Kelsey. I'm just keeping Laporta locked in my lineup.
Agree. You got Laporta, you start him. Kelsey, it's not like he's been bad. We can't say. I mean, a lot of this is more just relative to expectation, right? He's not been himself. He's not been the dominant number one tight end every week. For whatever reasons that we're not going to speculate on, but he's been okay. He wasn't good last week, but it's almost more just you have to start Laporta. And they're back at home next week, isn't right? Detroit back at home again?
No, they're on the road against Minnesota.
Oh, they're on the road. Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota is not scaring me. Defense question from Corey Walters. Bills, Browns, or Packers? Let's see. The Bills get the Chargers and Easton stick.
I mean, that's the end. That's it, right? That's we don't even need to dissect beyond that, right?
We don't.
Bills playing the Chargers? Okay. That's it. I'm playing the Bills. I'm playing the Bills defense.
Did we see what the Raiders defense did last week? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't even understand how there's Bills? Okay. Got it. Bills.
Bills. KR wants to know about K9 or Swift. He's got Elliott at kicker and needs 13 plus whatever DK gets.
I mean, it's got to be Swift. You got to feel better about Swift tonight. Better matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to be Swift.
Got to be Swift. Let's see. Big John made the playoffs in 5 out of 6 leagues. Very nice. All right. Well, thanks. Appreciate it, Big John. I don't remember getting a ton of questions, but hopefully we've helped you out.
Yes. Well done.
Yeah, dude, again, you get the credit for getting those teams together. I mean, hopefully we helped, but again, at the end of the day, you get that credit. Adventify wants to know who started 3 tight ends in a Dynasty league. I have the feeling he's got 2 thumbs and is pointing to himself. He had Hawkinson, Laporta, and Njoku. Man, that paid off.
Yes. Njoku, man.
Njoku's been on fire. Is it safe to say, talking about Kincaid, that he's droppable? Roll for me. Roll 1 for me. Sorry.
420. Maybe. If you already have a better tight end and you're going to pick up somebody you might use, sure.
Yeah, in a vacuum, it's hard to just say, is he droppable? Sure, he's droppable. He's done nothing lately, but who are you playing at tight end is the question. But yeah, I guess he is. Flip side fishing. Okay, so another Kincaid question. Go likely or Kincaid?
Rest of playoffs? I don't know. I mean, I guess right now I'd have to say likely. I mean, he did just have 2 really good matchups. Now he gets a really tough matchup, but I mean, Kincaid, again, 3 straight games, hasn't really done anything or done much, so probably likely.
I think so, because again, with a Kincaid and the whole Buffalo situation, we already talked a lot about it. It's a different offense because we've had a different coordinator, different play caller, different philosophy for the past month. And what can we take away? Because, we like to look at these little snippets of data and, last 4 weeks, and sometimes it's a trend and sometimes it's just a fluke and, things happen. A player was injured. The schedule just happened to be much better or worse. But this is a legitimate change in the way this offense runs. And the way this offense is running, they're targeting Kincaid, but like 2 yards down the field, like 5 yards down the field. That's it. And they're just not throwing it nearly as much. That's what Sean McDermott wants. So I think it's got to be likely at this point, just more upside. And then Saints or Eagles, he's talking rest of playoffs. Next week, I know the Saints play on Thursday and they get the Rams. That's not good. The Eagles.
Yeah, you want the Eagles at home against Tommy DeVito.
Eagles get the Giants. Yeah, it's got to be the Eagles.
Eagles at home against the Giants.
Yeah. And then we know Juice not mad. He's 12-2. Had that bye, I believe.
Yeah, good thing he had that bye.
Now, someone else has the bye. It's Casey. Tua or Kyler. They're both
well rested. That's good.
Rested. That's nice.
I think I'm going Tua. At home against the Cowboys, or do we like Kyler on the road against the Bears? I think I'm going Tua. Tyreek should be back. I'm going Tua.
I'm gonna say I wish that you had Joe Flacco. No. I don't love Kyler this coming week because the Bears on the road, it's gonna be a tough matchup. And I don't love Kyler this week. And he hasn't really been running that much, has he? With the rushing upside, he hasn't been running. Don't know if that's just by design because of they're trying to protect him, maybe it's not get injured, or maybe it's because that's like a missed opportunity to throw to a tight end. I don't know what the situation is, but you got to feel like the Dolphins are going to have to throw the ball a lot more. So I think I got to go Tua. And I'm really hoping, and I know a lot of people are too, that Tyreek does play this week, and I think he will.
Yeah. Mike McDaniel said he was close to playing this week, so.
Yeah, I think he will. And they're probably looking, I think it's the Jets. We don't need him. And they didn't. Yeah. All right, the king of you, 92, got down 30, got DK. He has his kicker. Yeah, I like DK, but not that much.
Yeah. Even a couple weeks ago when he went for like 160-3, how many points did he have? Like 37 points or something? Like, yeah. Good luck, king of you.
All right, Doug. I don't know if we can help here. I don't play ESPN really, but he says got a head-to-head, no division. Okay, 12-team league with 4 playoff spots. The second seed, it appears that I will win, but the playoff schedule shows that round 1 is week 15 through 16. Okay, so you have a 2-week playoff?
Yeah, it sounds like you have a 2-week playoff, so it combines your points. So whatever the score this week is, and then you play, I assume, this is usually how it works, you play the same team again next week, in week 16, and then your combined scores go up against each other. So it kind of like takes out, right, if somebody, like you have a week where like Bijan Robinson does nothing, or some guy randomly pops off, like your opponent has Jordan Addison, kind of helps balance that out a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm a fan of this in general because it just takes out some of the flukiness of a single week. So that's probably what it is, a 2-week playoff.
So I got bad news. We still don't know who the quarterback is. They're saying signs pointing to Drew Lock, but we probably won't know till the game starts. So I don't know. If you were waiting on Geno Smith, I mean, this is week 15 when we thought week 15 could get worse. You got Geno Smith and Drew Lock, and you don't even know who to put in your lineup right now. I guess Drew Lock.
I would think Drew Lock. If they still aren't that sold, because look, if Geno was good to go, they would have made it Geno's the starter, right? There's no like debate here of who they want to start. So if Geno's still not cleared and confirmed as a starter, they're just waiting and they're just doing whatever. I don't know. They think this is some competitive advantage. It's probably going to be Drew Lock, but again, it doesn't. I don't have any inside information here. I'll tell you that much. Okay. We do want to get to some more comments and try to answer your last minute questions, but it just occurred to me we haven't gone over the underdog draft yet. You want to get that now?
Oh, I was hoping you'd forget.
Can never forget underdog. Okay, so hold tight, guys. If you did drop a chat the last 10 minutes, we'll get to yours if we can, if we haven't already talked about it. But you know that besides the pick'ems, we talk about all the time, and you do get those specials. If you haven't tried underdog, you get a new special. You get basically a free pick. You get that DeAndre Swift just getting 1 yard tonight. But for right now, let's go over the draft. So we are on a weekly basis pretty much doing these little 10-man drafts with you, and we'll probably do it again this week. The winner for week 15 in the underdog endgame draft was
Tat Guy. Well, no surprise he had James Cook. And Jalen Waddle.
There you go.
And Debo, who had a nice game. Well done.
Stafford was a good pick. It didn't, win single-handedly, but that's the pick I would have made. There you go. All right, so
Well done.
nice. That's a nice team for only 6 players you got to pick, and picked 3 studs, and then second place.
Jace Dell had Purdy, had Njoku, and Rashee Rice. But also had some solid picks with CD and McKinnon.
Very nice there too. Yeah, no weak spots. With any sort of best ball format, especially such a shallow league, only 6 players on the entire team, and it's a 10-man league. You just want to have one of those top scorers, which is easier said than done, of course. But if it's all upside. It's just pure up. Who could have a big, huge week? And got some of these players here. And then taking the bronze, third place.
Fantasy Dog Pound.
Nice. The Dog Pound, who, let's see.
Had Kyron was his big player. Also did have Curtis Samuel, which was a nice pick.
Curtis Samuel, we talked about Terry McLaurin, who was one of the top scorers. Curtis Samuel came through with a couple touchdowns.
Yes.
All
right. Even
we
with
don't need to go over any of the other teams at all, do we?
What's that?
We don't need to go over any of the other teams, do we?
Well, should we go over dead last? Me?
Oh, I wasn't going to go there, but since you did.
I mean, I literally had almost every bust. Sam Howell, Bijan Robinson, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Logan Thomas. I did have Amari Cooper at least.
All right. Sam Howell. Surprised at the Sam Howell pick because you just...
Well, there weren't any... Again, remember, this was only the Sunday main slate.
Right.
So no Saturday games, no Sunday night game, no Monday night game. So I waited on quarterback, and I was like, well, he's the best one left. He's got upside. Maybe he has to throw it a ton. And then I stacked him with Logan Thomas because I don't know why.
Well, the Logan Thomas thing I get because the Rams are terrible against tight ends. And you're thinking, they're going to have to come back and throw it a lot, which was true. It just was Jacoby Brissett and not Sam Howell in the second half. Yeah, I get that. And remember, there was between the 3 Saturday, the Thursday, the Monday night, and Sunday night. That's 6 games that were completely off the table here. So there's a lot of teams you couldn't pick from. So if you waited on a quarterback, he probably was the one with the most upside. That was
exactly.
So that makes sense. Bijan.
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. I had Bijan, Diggs, and D Hop on the same. I mean, I had like 3 of the biggest busts of the week.
Bijan should have had a huge game. So I
think I had like pick 7 in that draft, and I got Bijan, and I'm like, how are you guys letting Bijan Robinson follow me with the 7th pick against the Panthers? Apparently, everybody had information I did not have.
Because they remembered who coaches the Falcons. Evil Arthur Smith.
Evil Arthur Smith.
All right. But congrats to our winners, and we'll do it again real soon. So let's make sure that y'all get a chance to sign up on Underdog if you haven't already. The information is in the description below. But let's get to some more questions before the game start. We'll do a few more here. Isaiah Gomera won without Tyreek. Pittman getting hurt. And had 1, 2, 3 busts? Man, see?
Wow.
Well, here's the question. Are you going Singletary over Pollard or Brees? The Jets, who do the Jets do?
Jets get the Commanders at home. That's such a good spot for Brees.
We're going to get, is this a trap?
Exactly. Are we going to get sucked into Brees again? I don't know. Ask me again later in the week. It's too soon.
Yeah,
too soon.
I don't know. Brees against the Commanders. Just talk about Kyren Williams. We know the Commanders are terrible against the pass. Well, guess what? They're also terrible against the run. And so it's a great spot for Brees. I don't know. Pollard is I don't even know. Probably not. Yeah. I would probably still start Pollard, Brees, but hard to do. Chu-Cha. Up 19, going against Swift. Would you start Devontae Smith or Walker to try to secure the dub?
Devonta Smith. I'm just going to play the guy who I feel better about, and that's Devonta Smith.
Yeah, you can't feel great about Walker. Like, you're up 19, you probably got it either way. But I would go Devontae Smith. And then Browner, rate this trade. All right. Trade time. Hawk, the Chiefs, and Reed to get DJ Moore, the Falcons defense, and McBride. So we're swapping McBride and Hawk at tight end. We're swapping DJ Moore and Reed at receiver. And defense.
Yeah, I think I've taken DJ Moore over Reed. I'm taking McBride over Hawk. I don't know about the whatever on the defenses. The DJ Moore side wins.
Yes. I would take the DJ Moore side easily anyways. And then, oh, by the way, Jaden Reed's hurt, might not play next week. Like, I'm definitely doing this. Who, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to look at who the Falcons play. They get the Colts next week. Yeah. If you get DJ Moore and McBride, do it. Definitely do it. Do it now. I think we already answered that. Let's do Kelly Berry. OBJ, Noah Brown, JNB. JNB.
It's supposed to be JSN? I mean, I don't know. It's probably Noah Brown for me. Especially if Nico's out and now we get CJ Stroud back. I mean, I guess it doesn't even matter if it's CJ Stroud or not because we saw with Case Keenum, he was fine. But I think regardless, it's Noah Brown for me.
Yeah, it's going to be Noah Brown here for me too. CJ Stroud should be back. And I highly doubt Nico plays. He might, but a guy like Noah Brown anyways. Interesting here. Markin Souls. It's got to drop a tight end between Ferguson, Waller, Schultz.
I guess Waller, probably.
Yeah, I'm dropping Waller. Well, I'm not dropping Waller because I didn't draft Waller a single league this year, but it's Waller. Sorry. Not counting on that. The casualty said in non-PPR is up by 25. Op has Lockett and Myers, the kicker. What do you think?
I mean, it's probably good. I mean, it just depends what Lockett game we get tonight. Do we get a big Lockett game or a tiny Lockett game? So you're gonna be sweating, but you definitely have a chance.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel a huge Lockett game here with probably Drew Lock, or if he plays, very questionable Geno Smith. So it's non-PPR. In non-PPR, I don't think Lockett has a monster game. I think you're good. Of course, to say that, and kickers could have a 15-point game.
Oh, jeez.
Let's just hope. That would be probably the worst way to lose is by a kicker having a monster game on Monday night.
Yes, that would be.
But not going to happen to you. It's not going to happen. Okay, Ricardo. What's up, Ricardo? He's upset with himself for being one and done. It's points on the bench. He's saying he wasn't focused. Oh, interesting. Well, focus or not, honestly, you can't be too upset. I mean, you can be upset if you made a terrible decision or had a guy who's injured left in your lineup. Okay, then you just didn't pay attention. But I feel like if you started Bijan and Saquon and all these studs and Jamar Chase, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. So, but I'll definitely be here. I'm glad you mentioned off-season content. When was it we're going to start doing off-season content for next year? What was that? Oh yeah, the week after the season ends.
Yeah, I was going to say as soon you're going to be like, I'm the champion, and the next morning it's going to be like, boom, off-season content.
Yeah,
there's no time for celebrating here. We're on to next year already.
Next year, moving on. Okay, Dirty Sanchez. Keaton Mitchell, he's done and
done and
very done.
Very done, and probably very done for next year too, sadly.
Yeah, that was definitely brutal. So now is Justice Hill worth a bench spot?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Especially you're saying your team is decimated. If you just lost Keaton Mitchell, sure.
Yeah.
He's not a guy I went to and said, oh, waiver wire, like you have to pick up Justice Hill because I mean, really, before Keaton Mitchell. Remember, Keaton Mitchell didn't play at all the beginning of the season because he was hurt. Justice Hill wasn't a thing. So I don't think he's a must-have. Interesting. He's saying that Geno Smith's projection just changed to 0.
Yeah, I just saw Drew Lock let him out of the tunnel, so it's probably Drew Lock. So if you had Geno Smith, Drew Lock, put Drew Lock in.
There you go. What? Russell Wilson seeing deplaning? I don't know. And then here's your conspiracy theory. My 2 cents definitely has opinions. Is this a scripted thing?
They want Jalen Hurts to win the MVP, and they're like, oh man, Brock Purdy's been too good. Okay, pretend like you're sick, and then go out there and throw for 300, run for 100 yards, score 4 touchdowns.
Try to make the Monday night game interesting. Yeah. Okay. So I guess looks like Drew Lock is the guy here for what that's worth. Cole Ward made it to the semis. Awesome. Nice. Last flex. Higgins or Godwin?
Oh man,
so both guys coming off of big games. Now this is made more difficult by the fact that Jamar Chase, like, we have no idea, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? He's day to day, not week to week.
Yeah, but the Bengals get the Steelers. Although the Steelers are going to be down their 2 starting safeties now. But the Bucs get the Jaguars at home. I might have to go Chris Godwin. That's such a good matchup at home. But man, these guys both feel like traps this week, to be honest.
Yes, they've been traps all season. I would say, I think if Jamar Chase doesn't play, I would have to go Higgins. If he does, I'd probably be on Godwin. And then Cole wants to know also, with Barkley and Connor as your best options, who should I get off of waivers? Look, I'm not picking any of those guys over Barkley or Connor.
No, I mean, yeah, no.
Just start Barkley and Connor.
I'm playing Barkley and Connor, and if they bust again, they bust again. Oh well.
Are you ready for a kicker question?
Not really, but go ahead.
Mindy wants to know, pick up Matt Gay, who is the Colts kicker, or stay with Kairos Santos, who I think is the Bears kicker.
I don't know. Didn't Matt Gay miss like a bunch of field goals?
Well, I will say this. Gay's the one who got everybody -6 points 2 weeks ago and killed some people. But he gets to play Falcons next week in the Dome against the Falcons. Bears are at home. It's in Chicago. So we're going to use the Dome thing as an excuse to pick here.
Sure. Good enough for me. It's a good enough reason for me.
Anthony wants to know, with McBride being huge against the Niners, you just set and forget? I think so.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're going to say him over Kelsey. Who could you possibly not,
Right.
Let's see. A couple more. Got a few minutes till the game starts. Any other musts? We'll be here tomorrow, by the way, guys, and the next day. On to the second round playoffs in one league, even with Tyreek and Olave out. All right. Awesome. Got deemed Waiver King. Nice.
That's the key. That's the key.
Let's see. Anything else? The Rico guy. I thought you had to wait to change.
Hey, got rid of the Easton Stick part. I like it.
No questions. Okay, thoughts on Debo and Gibbs? Set and forget.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I don't know if I can, like Debo, yes. I don't know if I can call Gibbs a set and forget, but I think we have to prefer Gibbs to Monty. Not simply because he had a better game than Monty this week, but it's Dan Campbell is the anti-Arthur Smith. He's got Sam Laporta out here, setting rookie tight end records. He's using Jahmyr Gibbs exactly how Jahmyr Gibbs should be used. He's like, yeah, I drafted these guys in the first round for a reason. Arthur Smith's like, I drafted these guys in the first round. I don't even know why I drafted. Like, I don't know. I just did. You know what I mean? Like he's like the anti-Arthur Smith in every way, pretty much, in every single way. So I don't know if Gibbs is set and forget, but you got to feel good about Gibbs. Yeah. Debo for sure.
Yeah, and then the matchup next week for the Lions, it's the Vikings. Just go. The way Gibbs is playing, just go with Gibbs.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're all caught up and the game's about to start. So one more thought. Oh, actually, let's do this. Sorry. One more question here, Mindy. Not a kicker question.
Ooh.
Stafford or Mayfield? Stafford was my favorite pickup last week. Mayfield, believe it or not, was my top pickup this week. I don't know. Is it going to go Mayfield here?
Man, this also feels like a trap, but it's at home against the Jags. Like, how can you not? How can you not?
I think it's Mayfield. So sad. All right, let's end with this. Anthony, yep. See you tomorrow for the live stream. Check us out. We'll be here for more waiver wire questions, week 16 lineup questions, and everything else. Reaction from this game. Good luck to everybody who still has anything in play for week 15. Hopefully, you just survive in advance. That's the name of the game, pretty much. And although it may be too late for tonight's pick'em, again, try underdog, do some of those live in-game picks. You'll still get a new customer special of some sort. I think this Thursday it is Matt Stafford, if I remember. I think it's Matt Stafford getting a yard. I think he can pull it off. All right, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you later.